For over a century, the colossal shadows of monsters have loomed large over the silver screen, ensnaring audiences in the mesmerizing dance between mythical behemoths and tales of epic proportions. This cinematic odyssey embarks on a journey through time, unraveling the evolution of monster movies from their nascent origins to the present-day resurgence. We delve into the genre's triumphs at the box office, navigate the treacherous depths of its decline, and ultimately stand at the precipice of a thrilling revival poised to redefine cinematic storytelling. Buckle up for a monster-sized ride through the captivating annals of cinematic history, where creatures of both horror and wonder have left an enduring mark on our collective imagination. The genesis of monster movies can be likened to the opening credits of an epic film, rolling slowly, setting the stage for what's about to unfold. Picture the early silent era as the laboratory where filmmakers, armed with creativity and a touch of madness, stitched together the very essence of monsters. In this primordial cinematic soup, two behemoths emerged: Frankenstein, 1931, and King Kong, 1933.
It's alive! It's alive!
Frankenstein, directed by James Whale, gave us the iconic image of a misunderstood monster with bolts protruding from its neck. Whale's creation was more than a creature of horror. It was a reflection of humanity's relentless pursuit of knowledge and the consequences that accompany playing God. Mary Shelley's 1818 novel found new life on the silver screen, immortalizing the monster as a symbol of the darker aspects of scientific curiosity. King Kong, on the other hand, scaled the heights of cinematic spectacle quite literally. Merian C. Cooper and Ernest B. Schoedsack unleashed Kong on an unsuspecting audience, not just as a towering ape, but as a tragic figure, a misunderstood giant in love with a damsel in distress. The film laid the groundwork for Hollywood's fascination with colossal creatures, planting the seed that would grow into a towering redwood of monster movies. But let's hop across the Pacific to a land where monsters aren't just creatures. They're allegories for the very real terrors that shaped a nation's history. Enter Godzilla, the granddaddy of kaiju, and Japan's answer to Hollywood's oversized stars. Emerging in 1954, Godzilla wasn't just a monster rising from the depths. It was a metaphorical response to the nuclear horrors that scarred Japan's recent past. The beast from 20,000 Fathoms is a 1953 American science fiction film directed by Eugene Leroy. It predates the original Godzilla film, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, in 1954. While both films feature giant monsters wreaking havoc, the beast from 20,000 Fathoms was released first, making it an earlier contribution to the kaiju genre. Rather than a direct copy, Godzilla and subsequent kaiju films added cultural, historical, and thematic elements that distinguish them from their Western counterparts. The kaiju genre in Japan has become a significant and distinct cultural phenomenon. Godzilla stomped onto the scene as a colossal metaphor for the anxieties plaguing post-war Japan. As a city-flattening lizard awakened by nuclear testing, Godzilla was the embodiment of the horrors unleashed by atomic power. The monster served as a cathartic release for a nation still grappling with the trauma of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Godzilla wasn't just a creature, it was a manifestation of Japan's collective fears and a plea for a world free from the destructive power of nuclear weapons. So while Hollywood was enamored with size, Japan added substance, infusing its monsters with cultural resonance. Godzilla wasn't just a giant lizard, it was a reminder of the horrors that can emerge from humanity's darker impulses. This dual narrative of misunderstood creatures in the West and allegorical monsters in the East set the stage for the monster movie saga, a tale as diverse and expansive as the creatures it unleashed upon the screen. It was a cinematic dawn where monsters weren't just born. They were crafted with layers of meaning, waiting to be unraveled by eager audiences around the globe.
Currently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are free at last! Man, hit the 500 home runs. I took kings of the world.
The 1950s and 1960s was an era where paranoia lingered in the air like the smell of buttered popcorn in a movie theatre. The world had emerged from the ashes of World War II, and the Cold War was casting its ominous shadow across the globe. It was against this backdrop of geopolitical tension and nuclear fears that monster movies reached their zenith. The creature from the Black Lagoon, released in 1954, emerged from the depths. It was a creature feature that tapped into fears lurking in the American psyche. The mysterious depths of the ocean became a symbol of the unknown, a vast, uncharted territory where ancient, terrifying creatures might still lurk. The creature, with its amphibious nature and menacing demeanor, served as a reflection of the unknown lurking beneath the surface of our understanding. An ominous reminder that we were just small fish in a vast and mysterious pond. These films weren't merely escapist entertainment, they were cultural mirrors reflecting the anxieties of the time. The atomic age had brought forth not only scientific marvels, but also the potential for unprecedented destruction. Godzilla and his monstrous brethren were the embodiments of those fears.
Stop! Will you tell these fools I'm not crazy? Make them listen to me before it's too late! Listen to me. Please listen.
The monsters didn't stop there, though. Enter Invasion of the Body Snatchers, released 1956, a film that played not only on the fears of alien invasion, but also on the cultural paranoia of conformity. As the Red Scare swept through America, bringing fears of communist infiltration, this cinematic masterpiece tapped into the unease of a society where the enemy might not be a bomb-wielding Godzilla but your own neighbor, transformed into a soulless pod person while you slept. Invasion of the Body Snatchers added another layer to the cultural tapestry, playing on the fear that those around us might not be what they seem. The invasion wasn't just from outer space, it was an invasion of identity and individuality. The monsters in this case were not giant creatures with scales or gills, they were our neighbours, our friends, and our family, stripped of their humanity by an unseen force. These films struck a chord with audiences because they spoke to the collective consciousness of a society grappling not only with the consequences of scientific progress, but also with the uncertainties of a changing world. The monsters weren't just monsters, they were symbolic expressions of the fears and hopes of an era on the brink of a new age. The Cold War, nuclear proliferation, the unexplored realms of science, and the cultural fears of conformity all found a voice in the roars of Godzilla, the haunting echoes of the creature from the Black Lagoon, and the insidious whispers of the pod people. In the dimly lit theatres of the 1950s and 1960s, audiences didn't just witness monsters on the screen, they saw reflections of their own fears and aspirations writ large. Those cinematic shadows, the monsters, became immortal symbols of an era in tumultuous transition, where reality and fiction danced in a chilling waltz that resonated with the heartbeat of a society in flux. As the 1970s dawned, the once dominant roar of the monster movie seemed to echo less thunderously through theatres. Audiences, like a discerning critic, grew wearier of the predictable tropes and outdated special effects. Statistics during this period tell a tale of dwindling box office returns and lukewarm critical reception. The monsters that once towered over the cinematic landscape found themselves facing a formidable adversary, changing audience tastes. The era that birthed the rebellious spirit of counterculture and the rise of New Hollywood also brought a demand for more sophisticated, nuanced storytelling. Monster movies, with their reliance on formulaic plots and creatures that occasionally look more like puppets than nightmares, struggled to keep pace. The once reliable box office titans faltered. Godzilla, who had once stomped his way to box office glory, faced diminishing returns as audiences sought narratives with more depth than the proverbial surface-level city destruction. King Kong, the mighty ape who once climbed the Empire State Building, found himself relegated to nostalgic nods, rather than the marquee dominating force he once was. Even the attempts to modernize the genre, with films like King Kong 1976 and Godzilla 1985, struggled to recapture the magic of their earlier incarnations. As audiences clamored for the sophistication of films like The Godfather, 1972 and Apocalypse Now, 1979, the creature features of old began to feel as antiquated as a typewriter in the age of computers. It wasn't just the monsters who faced a midlife crisis, it was the genre itself. As special effects evolved in other genres, monster movies seemed trapped in a time warp, with creatures that were, at best, endearing and, at worst, unintentionally humorous. The industry needed a rejuvenating serum, a shot of adrenaline to bring the monsters roaring back to life. The decline in interest wasn't solely due to the stagnation of visual effects. Audiences were evolving, demanding stories that resonated with the complexities of the human experience. The monster movies of yesteryear had often relied on external threats, atomic fears, alien invasions, or ancient creatures awakened by human folly. The 1970s and 1980s, however, were marked by internal conflicts, societal upheavals, and a desire for narratives that reflected the intricacies of human relationships. The midlife crisis of monster movies wasn't just about outdated visuals, it was about relevance. While creatures from the Black Lagoon and giant reptiles served as potent metaphors in their heyday, they struggled to articulate the nuanced fears and hopes of an audience navigating an era marked by political unrest, technological leaps, and shifting cultural norms. And so, in the fading echoes of once thunderous roars, the monster movie genre entered a period of introspection, a cocoon where it underwent a metamorphosis. Recent years have ushered in a monstrous renaissance, a resurrection that rivals the most epic scenes of creatures emerging from the depths. The evolution of technology, coupled with a fresh approach to storytelling, has injected new life into the veins of the monster movie genre. Before we navigate this monster-filled comeback, we must not overlook the infamous Godzilla, 1998, directed by Roland Emmerich. While the film garnered mixed reviews and stirred controversy among Godzilla purists, with many saying it missed the sentiment of the original, it played a pivotal role in the genre's timeline. With advancements in CGI, this Godzilla was a colossal leap forward in terms of visual effects, even if it left some fans yearning for a more traditional portrayal of the iconic creature. Regardless of opinions, the 1998 Godzilla laid the groundwork for the technological marvels that would follow in its wake. Pioneering this revival, Cloverfield, released in 2008, stood out as a significant force, reshaping the landscape of monster movies. Crafted under the directorial prowess of Matt Reeves and produced by Jar Jar Abrams, this found-footage monster movie didn't merely unfold a narrative, it catapulted audiences into a realm of chaos and uncertainty on the streets of New York. What set Cloverfield apart was not merely its ability to terrify, but its profound statement on the contemporary relevance of monsters. In an era saturated with digital effects and CGI marvels, the film returned to the roots of fear, relying on the unseen and the unknown. The mysterious creature that wreaked havoc on New York was a manifestation of contemporary anxieties, a metaphor for the unpredictability and chaos that could emerge in the modern world. The success of Cloverfield reverberated through the industry, serving as a testament to the enduring power of monsters as symbols in storytelling. It debunked the notion that monsters were relics confined to the past, proving that, when crafted with ingenuity and relevance, they could still send shivers down spines and resonate deeply with contemporary audiences. As the film unfolded its monstrous spectacle, it not only revitalized the genre, but also signaled a shift in the way filmmakers approached and audiences embraced the timeless allure of monstrous tales. Fast forward to Godzilla 2014, directed by Gareth Edwards, and its sequel, Godzilla-King of the Monsters, 2019, directed by Michael Dougherty. These films recaptured the essence of the original Godzilla, blending awe-inspiring spectacle with a deeper exploration of the human connection to these monstrous beings. Edwards, in particular, understood that Godzilla wasn't merely a special effect, it was a force of nature, a symbol of both destruction and salvation. the King Kong franchise also made a powerful resurgence.
Is that a monkey?
Somebody talk to me, man. Turn right heading 25.
After attempting to come back to the forefront of monster movies with the release of King Kong 2005, it wouldn't be until 12 years later we would get what some consider the true revival of monsters. Kong, Skull Island, 2017, directed by Jordan Vogt-Roberts, brought the colossal ape back to the big screen in a visually stunning and action-packed adventure. This film, part of the larger monsterverse that started with Godzilla 2014, introduced Kong as a formidable force of nature, echoing the sentiment years earlier of Godzilla being more than just a special effect. The film set the stage for the epic clash between Godzilla and Kong in Godzilla vs. Kong 2021, directed by Adam Wingard, a crossover that thrilled audiences with its colossal battles and reinforced the enduring appeal of giant monster movies, though it faced criticism for its tendency to lean more towards spectacle than telling a substantive story. But, I mean, I would quite happily have 2 hours of this.
Oh yeah, we want retribution! Oh yeah, we want retribution! Oh yeah, we want retribution! Yeah, we ran out of patience! Boil up with the cold hard hatred! I can feel the vibration deep in the street.
Amidst the ongoing efforts of Hollywood studios to relaunch the monster franchise, Shin Godzilla, released in 2016 by Japanese studio Toho Studios, directed by Hideaki Anno and Shinji Higuchi, emerged as a notable and unique addition to the Godzilla franchise. This Japanese installment took a bold departure from traditional Godzilla narratives, presenting a fresh and contemporary take on the iconic kaiju. Shin Godzilla not only provided awe-inspiring spectacle, but also offered a satirical and critical commentary on bureaucratic inefficiencies and government response in the face of a colossal crisis. The film explored Godzilla as a metaphor for societal and political challenges, making it a thought-provoking addition to the kaiju genre. That, in my opinion, holds one of the most beautifully crafted atomic breath depictions ever.
You don't remember anything last night, huh?
The genre's revival isn't solely cantered on kaiju, though. Colossal, released in 2016, directed by Nacho Vigalondo, put a unique spin on the monster movie, blending it with elements of psychological drama and comedy.
What?
The film starred Anne Hathaway as a woman whose actions in a small American town inexplicably correlate with the movements of a giant monster wreaking havoc in South Korea. It was a bold and imaginative take on the genre, proving that monsters could serve as metaphors for personal struggles and redemption.
You know you're watching something that's going to change the course of history. You all right?
It's this nervous tick I have. I get this itch. Oh my God.
If I told you about her, the princess without voice, what would I say?
And who could forget the chilling The Shape of Water, 2017, directed by Guillermo del Toro. This modern fairy tale not only earned critical acclaim, but also snatched up the coveted Best Picture Oscar at the Academy Awards.
The Oscar goes to The Shape of Water.
The film showcased Del Toro's masterful ability to weave a poignant love story between a woman and an amphibious creature, breaking the conventional boundaries of the monster movie genre. But the monster resurgence wasn't quite ready to roar back to the top of people's must-see lists just yet. Enter A Quiet Place. a film that turned the monster movie trope on its head. Directed by Jim from The Office, aka John Krasinski, this suspenseful masterpiece dared to ask, what if monsters hunted by sound? Suddenly, the quiet rustle of leaves became more ominous than the loudest roars of Godzilla. The film not only showcased the versatility of the genre, but also reinforced that monsters could be subtle, lurking in the shadows and creating tension without the need for explosive special effects. Despite sharing a very similar plot, the movie Bird Box, released in the same year and directed by Susanne Bier, managed to capture people's attention and became a topic of conversation, proving that audiences were not only hungry for fresh perspectives in the monster movie genre, but receptive to the more nuanced and subtle storytelling, branching the genre into horror and thriller territory, while still maintaining the commanding allure and excitement. One previous groundbreaking example is Alien. Directed by Ridley Scott, this science fiction horror masterpiece demonstrated that monsters could be more than just colossal beings wreaking havoc. They could be insidious, elusive, and terrifyingly intelligent. These examples prove that the convergence of styles showcased the genre's adaptability, proving that monsters, whether colossal or elusive, can strike fear and excitement in audiences through diverse and sophisticated storytelling approaches.
Come on, baby. Hey, I'm not gonna hurt you. Come on.
The evolution of monster movies is inseparable from the technological leaps that brought these creatures from black and white stillness to the vibrant life of 4K high definition. With the advent of CGI, monsters transformed from practical effects and puppetry to digital marvels demanding their close-ups in crystal clear, pixel-perfect detail. In this new era, the once charming monsters of practical effects stepped into the limelight, now free from the constraints of physical models. CGI not only brought fluidity and realism to their movements, but also allowed filmmakers to craft monsters as nuanced characters, evoking fear, empathy, or even a twisted sense of beauty. Every roar, every movement, and every monstrous detail are scrutinized and presented with a level of clarity that immerses audiences in a cinematic experience that feels tangible. The monsters have transcended the limitations of the past and become the stars in a technological revolution. Monsters, those transcendent entities that defy borders and cultural divides, have cemented their place as true global citizens in the realm of cinema. From Japanese kaiju wreaking havoc to European folklore-inspired creatures, monsters speak a universal language that unites audiences worldwide. It's a language that says, hey, we may be terrifying, but we're all in this monster-filled world together. As we reflect on the enduring journey of monster movies, we recognize that they have not only stood the test of time, but have left an undeniable mark on cinematic history. From the classic roars of early creatures to the thunderous stomps of modern-day behemoths, these films have captured our imaginations and nightmares alike. In this evolutionary tapestry, certain franchises have emerged as transformative forces reshaping the very fabric of the genre. One such colossal force that transcended the traditional boundaries of monster movies is the Jurassic Park series. In 1993, Steven Spielberg unleashed a cinematic revolution with the release of Jurassic Park, a film that not only resurrected dinosaurs on the silver screen, but also redefined our expectations of visual effects and storytelling. While Jurassic Park may seem distinct from the classic monster movie formula, its influence on the genre cannot be overstated. As the genre continues its evolution, monsters will undoubtedly remain timeless symbols, reminding us that no matter how advanced our CGI, practical effects, or storytelling techniques become, there's always room for a good, old-fashioned monster movie. As we reach the grand finale of our monster-filled saga, let's take a moment to applaud the recent release of Japan's Godzilla-Minus One. cinematic triumph that has garnered thunderous applause from fans and critics alike, illustrating the universal appeal of these colossal creatures. This success reinforces the notion that monster movies transcend global borders. As we anticipate the forthcoming chapters in the monster saga, with ongoing series like Skull Island,
we need to run, now!
and A Monarch Legacy of Monsters, and the highly awaited release of Godzilla-Kong on the horizon, the future for monster movies and unexpectedly the expansive monsterverse appears as colossal as the creatures that inhabit it. So, with our hands raised, popcorn in tow, and the lights dimming one last time, let us cheer on as the monsters continue their legendary rampage across the silver screen. An enduring testament to the timeless power of storytelling and the monstrous creativity that resides within the human mind.